Aum Sairam. Hara Hara Shankara, Jaya Jaya Shankara. Episode 11. Shri Mahaswami, the Sage with Eyes of Light, the Diary of a Seeker of Truth. Dr.Serge Demetrian. Dear devotees, now we shall listen to the second part of this divine book under the subtitle The Pilgrim's House. Madras, 10th December 1969. Shankara Vihar. In Madras, I lived in a guest room of a cultural foundation, Shankara Vihar, the residence of Shankara, endowed with a library and a small shrine. The director of this foundation, Dr. T.M.P. Mahadevan, professor and head of the philosophy department, is also in charge of the Center of Advanced Study in Philosophy of the University of Madras. My critical reason is agitated, sensing perhaps the impending disappearance of its customary grip. It will have to accept the growing evidence of its limited capacity for discernment. If so, it will be done with panache. Madras, 11th December 1969. For the last few days and at unpredictable intervals, there appear periods of luminous heart, as if the augurs of the inferior mind, which opposed this inner development, withdrew, weakened by the opening that was created by Sri Mahaswami himself. Madras, 17th December 1969. This evening I performed vichara in the shrine of the house where I reside. An exceptionally powerful presence showed itself along my spine, combined with a kind of pressure on the nape of the neck. I feel drawn towards Kanchipuram. Madras, Thursday, 18th December 1969. Progress in spiritual life. I had an agitated night, as if the physical organism tried to get rid of the poisons accumulated by the stress generated in the nervous system. This Thursday, Guruvara, the day of the Guru, that is of Shiva, I went to the little shrine of the residence of Shankara. Once again, as it often happens after a recent darshan of Sri Mahaswami, there was a fantastic feeling of presence along the spine combined with this pressure on the nape of the neck. I left Madras for the next visit to Kanchipuram, almost drifting along like a cloud. After the rains, the morning was marvelous. Some sort of peace welled up from the earth. I arrived at the mutt at about 12 o'clock. A new person, slightly anxious, received me. He seemed to wonder, how will this foreigner behave before Sri Mahaswami? As we were considering, another staff member came in and told me that Sri Mahaswami will receive me in the afternoon. Both discussed the place where I could wait. Should it be the house of an advocate, which is near the mutt? They rejected the idea, as the advocate is a Brahmin. They commented, one does not joke with the birthplace, that is, one should not infringe on the strict traditional customs of Brahmins. The implication being that I am a foreigner and therefore ineligible for consideration. I am finally put up at the hotel Sri Rama Lodge, where they phoned and reserved a room for me. I took rest with Atma Bodha under my pillow. This short treatise by Adi Shankara seemed to be stuck to my hands for the past few days. Just as a lamp illumines a pot or a jar, the Atma illumines the mind and the sense organs also. These material objects, like pots, cannot illumine themselves because they are inert and have no chaitanya. The Atman in us is the one illuminating factor, the pure consciousness, which alone illumines the mind, buddhi, and the sense organs. Atma Bodha, verses 28 and 29. Towards 3:30 p.m., I clearly felt a golden presence in my heart. Later, I came to know that it was the instant when Venkataraman, a member of the mutt, had been talking about me to Sri Mahaswami. A few inexplicable thoughts of doubt popped up in my mind. Still, I was feeling that the message would reach me by 4 p.m. That is what happened. An audience had been fixed by 6 p.m. with the junior Shankaracharya, Jayendra Saraswati, and by 7:30 p.m. with Sri Mahaswami. I remained for some time at the hotel talking with the owner about a mandapa situated on the opposite side of the street and about the sad destiny of these venerable constructions which had become wood storehouses or tea shops. Eventually, I left and started wandering for a while through the by-lanes where there are a few neglected small temples strewn like abundant jewels. Since I had heard that in the center of town, the temple of the goddess Kamakshi is the place where Adi Shankara had relinquished his human form, the temple especially attracted me. I reached the place as though led by a hand and I entered the precincts. As I passed under the high tower Gopura that guards the southeast entrance, I was struck by the ethereal atmosphere similar to that of the places where Sri Mahaswami resides. Through a small hole in the wall of the main shrine, Gavaksha, the cow's eye, I tried to see into the interior, the main image, but my success was limited. At the entry of the central edifice, there was a sign, non-entry for non-Hindus. What a shame! I hope to find in time a means to have the darshan of the goddess Kamakshi. Before leaving, I took rest for a while under an old tree in the temple complex. By 6 p.m., I entered the mutt. The junior Shankaracharya received me immediately, but soon he left to witness the puja with the temple elephant in attendance. Every evening in the main sanctuary, the account books of the mutt administration with the receipts and the expenditures of the day are kept before the statue of Adi Shankara and his 4 disciples. A huge pachyderm which has squeezed its way into the mutt through a narrow door is also there in order to salute the great Acharya. On this occasion, the animal plays the role of an additional witness and at the end trumpets twice in his tongue. The accounts are accepted and no more audit is necessary. The junior Shankaracharya returned to his place. We sat on the ground and engaged in a discussion in which I pleaded a rather intellectual idea that there is a lack of application in India to explain clearly in modern English the principles of Advaita Vedanta. The junior Shankaracharya replied that Westerners prefer the abstract thought of Advaita that does not attract the crowds in India. Those who are drawn to Advaita would find help with Sri Mahaswami or in the different ashrams which concentrate on this teaching. A good atmosphere prevailed during the encounter. I take leave and in the company of Venkataraman, I walk hurriedly to the place where I will find Sri Mahaswami, namely the Chowdhury or pilgrim's house near the Kamakshi temple. It is now night and we are in the pleasant courtyard. A kerosene lantern lights the open veranda. some handfuls of straw or spread on the ground for us to sit on. I place 2 apples on a plate as an offering. An assistant brings out a small mat for the Mahaswami to sit on and a wooden board for him to lean on. I had to wait some 5 minutes. My mind is suddenly agitated. It tries to compel me to leave. The mouth becomes parched in a second, and I am very thirsty. I do not give up. It is a short but rude fight, and I emerge victorious. The place of the enemy who perished is now occupied by a feeling of luminous peace. I hear the sound of the wooden sandals on the path of bricks and see the Mahaswami rounding the corner. I prostrate perhaps longer than usual. I stand up so that I could contemplate him. He is an immense flame, a red-orange radiance. Surely he does not have a body. How can we believe that he has a visible body? Though this glow is subdued by an immense willpower, the eyes are 2 immobile pieces of lightning and are even fairer. I can behold their power with some difficulty. The delicate white of the beard frames the phrase. By his head and his right hand, with the palm open towards me, he draws gentle gestures of love and assurance. He does not sit on the mat, but remains standing. What is your name? He asks me in Tamil through the interpreter. Demetrian. I speak with difficulty, and the voice is not mine. In fact, I listen to myself as though someone else is speaking. Where are you from? From Romania. From which place? Bucharest. Where do you work? I am a senior research fellow in philosophy with Dr. T.M.P. Mahadevan. Mahadevan, repeats Sri Mahaswami with a gentle voice. He speaks mostly as though to justify his presence. I am standing bare-chested, the traditional way, hands in Anjali. I am trying to pronounce some divine name, but without success, as though in a dream I hear the interpreter. Sri Mahaswami blesses you with progress in spiritual life. Progress in spiritual life, repeats Sri Mahaswami in English with a clear and a powerful voice while keeping all the time his right palm open towards me in Abhaya Hasta, the sign of blessing. However, these words I heard not only as powerful words of wisdom, but I also perceived them as cast in brilliant gold. They were heavy, good, sweet, warm, and true. I felt them materially entering my heart as they were of the nature of the heart. Sri Mahaswami closed his eyes as he used to do sometimes and stood lost in thought. In the interval, his right hand remained open towards me. The palm was very large, white, luminous, and seemed so near to me. He blessed me, and a rain of felicity poured on me. Why was it not possible to leave this world at that very moment? I prostrated once again. Sri Mahaswami had waited for me to finish. He turned to his right and then slowly left the scene. On the spot where he stood, there was left a bright triangle. The dusk light hesitated to replace it. I slowly came back to earth and conferred with Venkataraman. As we had become friends, he serves the Mahaswami, and this makes him happy. His doubts and fears have disappeared. Sri Mahaswami thinks and acts for him and often appears in his dreams. 20 years ago, he was told, "Go and work. Lead a life of service." 8 years ago, Venkataraman was permitted to start serving Sri Mahaswami. You are a seeker of truth. More than this, a jnani, he says. You have been blessed with progress in spiritual life. You are happy. It felt as if Sri Mahaswami was replying to the question I would have asked if permitted. Was it any progress with me? However, from this starting point to become a jnani so soon is perhaps asking too much. Let us try to evolve slowly. I may have also asked, if given the opportunity, when I would be worthy to receive a Mahavakya that would be my mantra, and for me the Maha Mantra. Madras, Thursday, 25th December, Christmas, 1969. A Mahavakya appears by itself. During the night of the 18th to 19th December, I had a troubled sleep and experienced a good deal of bad health, headache, irritation of the mucous membranes of my eyes and nose. Was it due to the strong guidance received at Kanchipuram, or was it due to the light flu that frequently roams in Madras? Today it is Ramana Jayanti. Being an auspicious day, I intended to pay a visit to a friend, Dr. K. Seshadri, for an astrological reading. Nevertheless, some giddiness and an unexplainable headache compelled me to cancel. All the distress stopped as soon as I abandoned the plan. After some meditation, I read Adi Shankara's Atma Bodha, which had continued to stick in my hands for the last week. At around 1 p.m., an irresistible force imposed itself on me that partook of the nature of Sri Mahaswami and especially of Adi Shankara. It was one of the Mahavakyas. The great words started pulsating in my heart as in the middle of a flower with petals of light. For some hours I was left totally hanging on to this sacred phrase. Only its luminous reality existed. I was unable to think of anything else. It was also impossible to talk. The body was moving like a robot. In the afternoon, I slept for 1 hour on this Mahavakya and I woke up to it. I rarely had such a restful sleep. The reason for my existence was justified by the presence in my heart of this great word. These sorts of experiences are interesting as they furnish us with the certitude of the existence of another layer, deeper and more real than ordinary life, but without depriving me of my critical sense. By evening, the Mahavakya began to be concealed under ordinary thoughts. I was much distressed as if the essential aspect of my life was missing. Madras, Friday, 26th December 1969. Yesterday's Mahavakya has become vital to my life. It is doubtless that this great word is one of those one should never forget. All the more in that its appearance seems to be in reply to my unexpressed wish for a Mahavakya on the 18th during the last darshan Sri Mahaswami had granted in Kanchipuram. Madras, Saturday, 27th December 1969. A second experience took place, similar to that from the 25th December, but it was shorter, less intense, and while I was reading Atma Bodha, that magnificent little book, I had received from France a letter sent by Jean Rostand and his book Homus d'Orged Heu et de Demain, where he is finely ironic concerning the scientific objectivity of Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. My own work at the time, a PhD thesis, was on the philosophical thought of this scientist. Madras, Wednesday, 31st December 1969. My second year in India has just come to its end. If, as it seems to me, it has been a year of spiritual evolution, then my studies at the university have been only of indirect help. My attempts to establish cultural or friendly relations with Romanian diplomats posted in India have failed. The same failure with Germany. As to the USA, I did not even try. We will see what will happen with France. As regards the climate, I hope that the next year will be more easy bearable, as the last one has been very trying. The body-mind tree has been strongly shaken, probably so that all the parasites fall off. On the other hand, the human experiences in India have been fruitful and encouraging. I was able to see Sri Mahaswami 3 times, and perhaps I could progress a little towards the truth. Madras, Friday, 2nd January 1970. This evening, the Mandukya Upanishad was read in the temple of the Shankara Vihar. I felt this Upanishad as if it were resounding in my heart. When the second sloka was recited, a Mahavakya appeared and the holy words pierced my heart as a spear of light. I repeated them after the lecture and the same phenomenon recurred. I have decided not to think anymore without referring to these words of light. Will I succeed? Partially at least. Let me hope. Madras, Saturday, 3rd January 1970. Today, my host, the director of Shankara Vihar, did not take me along to Kanchipuram. I accepted this blow in a dignified manner. He said, Sri Mahaswami is everywhere. About this, I am convinced. Sri Mahaswami is of the same nature as every son of God. Jesus, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Sri Ramana Maharishi. If he does not show himself to us always as he is, it is in order not to burn us by his fiery presence. Devotees, let us close this episode and shall continue to listen to the second part of Sri Mahaswami, the sage with eyes of light, in the coming episode, bowing at the holy feet of the Gurus. Aum Sairam. Hara Hara Shankara, Jaya Jaya Shankara.